dominant aggression is where you have generally a fairly confident dog who wants to be the one in charge. And here's the analogy. Think of this, two dogs meet at the park and they come up to each other and they're kind of stiff-tailed and kind of big, confident. They may be small dogs, but they're still kind of doing the tough walk. And they meet and they come over and they greet, and maybe one dog puts his head over the other one goes, oh, no, you don't. Next thing, and the question is, what's it? Well, it is who's in charge. Because there's no food there, there's no toys. Hi there, everybody. Doggy Dan here with another edition of Pup Dates, sharing my thoughts and wisdom about dogs as I walk my dogs in the woods. And we're on to a new sort of series, and this series is going to be on dog aggression because it's a huge topic. And if you've got a dog who's aggressive, you probably know it's very stressful and it can be very confusing about what's going on, why it happens sometimes, what's the cause of it, and what the solution is. So I'm going to go through a number of different types of aggression and basically explain a little bit more, help you understand them a little bit better about what that type of aggression is that your dog may have and what you can do about it, how you can solve the problem. Now, of course, a lot of this, so much of this will come down to putting in place what I call the dog calming code, which solves all the problems. And I'm not going to explain exactly that here, but I will explain why that is going to help. It'll help you understand why that's the solution. Because the problem with dog aggression is so much of the training out there does not fix the problem because it doesn't go to the root cause of the problem. So let's get into it. The first type of aggression that I want to talk about is dominance aggression. So as with everything, I'm kind of generalizing here, but dominant aggression is where you have generally a fairly confident dog who wants to be the one in charge. And here's the analogy. Think of this, two dogs meet at the park and they come up to each other and they're kind of stiff-tailed and kind of big, confident. They may be small dogs, but they're still kind of doing the tough walk. And they meet and they come over and they greet, and maybe one dog puts his head over the other one goes, oh, no, you don't. Next thing, and there's a bit of a to and fro and they argue about it, and then it's all over. And the question is, what's it? Well, it is who's in charge. Because there's no food there, there's no toys, and yet you see them having this argument about something, and they've only just met, and they're not discussing politics. So what are they arguing about? Well, they're arguing about who's in charge, and that's because when you have a dominant dog, they want to be the one in charge. And if you have two dogs that meet who are both kind of dominant dogs, they both try and be in charge. So, I mean, there's lots of variations on a theme there. You know, you may have a dog which doesn't come across as being overly confident, but they're still kind of doing that dominant thing. It's sometimes very hard to see. It can happen so quickly. You know, if a dog goes to go over the top of another one, because if one dog puts his head over the top of the other dog, that's a sign of dominance. The one who goes over the top is the dominant dog. Now, if the other dog kind of goes, no, you don't, that can, as one dog's trying to go over the top, the other one does that. That's enough for one dog to go, hey, don't you try and... So it can be so subtle. And I've seen it where I've videoed it, I've slowed it down, so it happens in milliseconds. But that's the kind of real cause of it. Now, the real solution is, if at home you tell your dog, oh, you're in charge, like your little Lord Fauntleroy, as I say, is, if you spoil your doggy and he's allowed on the beds and he's in charge and he controls the food and he gets all of this, he's told he's in charge. Then lo and behold, when you go to the park, he thinks he's in charge and he acts real dominant. So the real solution is making sure your dog knows they are not in charge, because when you do that, suddenly you have a far more chilled out, relaxed dog who doesn't feel the need to go up to all these other dogs doing the tough thing, tough dance, tough walk. Doesn't need to be a bossy dog. So without doing any training, you can solve the problem. You solve it at home by putting the dog calming code in place. Now, of course, there's always some training that you can do, but the training isn't really the solution, if that makes sense. The solution is actually what you do at home, and the way you say to your dog, hey, you're not in charge, you're not the pack leader, you're not the boss, you don't have to go around dominating the other dogs. Now, of course, if you're going if you want some training tips, and my way of doing this is deal with the cause of the problem first, and then if you need some training tips as well, the training that you can do is, of course, don't just let your dog off the leash at the park. You need to be making sure your dog's not running up to another dominant bossy dog, because if they are, you're going to be in trouble. And at the end of the day, you kind of can't. It's not the sort of if there's a bossy dog there, dominant dog there over here, and you've got one, and they meet, there's not really that much you can do, in my opinion. It's almost like it's going to go off. So that's why you have to deal with the cause of the problem. The real cause is making sure your dog doesn't think that they're in charge. So that's the dominant dog. If you're wondering what to do, the dog calming code is the solution. Super powerful. And the beauty of it is, like I say, you solve the problem at home. And I had a lady on the telephone yesterday saying exactly this. It's amazing. I put it in place. My dog's not aggressive anymore, and I haven't really done any training. I've just put the dog calming code in place. It made me smile, because it doesn't matter how many times I hear it. When you hear that the method works, you know you're on the right track. That's the dominant dog. So that's pup dates over and out for today. Next week, I'll do another dog aggression situation. It'll be different from this one. It won't be dominance. It'll be something else. All right. Give my love to your dogs. Much love. Have a great day. As always, Doggy Dan checking out. Take care. Bye-bye.